Welcome to a brand new Five Heart Podcast live on a Thursday night. Live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Can't forget about you. We're live on X as well. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Mahochko, Mr. Thursday Night. And to my left, your right, is my co-host, Minnie Hunt. Minnie, how are you doing tonight?
I am wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. It's my daughter's 13th birthday, my little baby Shelby. She's a teenager.
That's
My, how they grow so fast. I know.
I have 3.5 years until my oldest is a teenager.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
It's going to be something.
I've heard, and I only have boys, so I don't know, but I've heard, because I talked to plenty of people who have raised children, that boys are more difficult when they're younger. Girls are more difficult as teenagers. So
I think it's the whole potty training thing. I think it takes a long time to potty train boys. Like all my girls, by 2, they were done.
We're still working with Matthew, but he's done much better the last couple of weeks. So we are seeing improvement. So, but it is July the 3rd. So hopefully the new cover photo for YouTube caught people's, I guess Facebook too. So fireworks, because we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We have a lot of fun every week, but it's going to be fun, I think, with the benefit of hindsight, knowing that the past is the past. We can't change it, and we're not even in those seasons anymore. We can laugh at ourselves, laugh at the Huskers a little bit as we share some of our favorite Husker bonehead plays that have taken place on the football field. So,
and not just that, Greg. My birthday girl and I were working hard today on the Five Heart Theater.
Oh, great!
Yes,
Five Heart Theater. Wait. How did you convince your 13-year-old daughter to give up time on her birthday to work on a screenplay? Very, very liberal with that term, for a Five Heart Theater that was going to be airing live on her birthday, but like, how? You're a hell of a salesperson, apparently.
Her options were either she could be here in person, or she could help me.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know the former was an option. I didn't know that we were, it's prime time. It's Five Heart After Dark. I don't know.
I think it's okay. The sun hasn't even gone down here.
Well, it has here. And I know because I was out in it tonight. So.
Oh, what were you doing?
I was walking in a parade. Now,
that totally sounds like something you would do.
My first
were you
professional.
Wait. Let me guess. Were you a clown?
No more than usual. Like, I didn't dress up as a clown. No.
Okay.
And maybe I've said this on the show before, but my first gig on terrestrial radio as a professional was the Sheridan County Fair Parade in August of 2003. And calling a parade on the radio, Minnie. I don't know if you're familiar with parades, but they're kind of a visual medium. They work great on television, work great in person, but on radio, there's sort of something missing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Vince says Rushville is technically in Gordon, so it was my first experience in really in the Panhandle. But my job as I don't even know. Not play-by-play guy, not analyst, but every float had a card. They were, in some way sponsors. And so I have to say, yes, this next float is First National Bank, and they have whatever great loan rates and whatever it was, and then the other guy would describe the float like, that's right, and it's got some great green shades of green tissue paper, and just like parades on the radio.
It doesn't sound like a job that you're very well suited for. I know you can make a lot of things up, but it sounds like a job that somebody like me would be more suited for, because I'd be like, look at the blooms on that parade floral.
You have to remember, though,
look at the
I was wide-eyed and excited to be starting my radio career. 13 days after that, I would have call my very first high school football game, Shadron Cardinals versus the Torrington, I want to say Cowboys in Wyoming. Somebody's going to correct me on that. It doesn't matter. Shadron won. But I sounded excited because I was 21.
I'm having an issue. I just touched one of my microphone or one of my ear things. Is it playing music?
No.
Oh my gosh. How do I get it to stop?
I don't know.
Go ahead. Keep going, Greg.
You keep doing that. But the cool part about doing that radio gig for the parade was I got to meet a kind of a legendary band that night. They were, they're, dare I say, on the downward swing of their careers, but they were headlining the Sheridan County Fair, and that was the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. So I got to hear, Fishing in the Dark and Mr. Bojangles and all their hits for the first time, honestly, because I didn't listen to country music growing up. So,
sorry, there it stopped.
There you go.
Oh my
Living in
gosh.
Omaha, David
all
Matney,
I had to do was touch it. Okay.
The official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, says they're telling you what you had to say. That had to be a lot tougher than it sounds. Thank you, Mr. Matney. People don't understand the turmoil.
Are you really here to get sympathy for your days of calling a parade? Is that?
That's where we're at in July.
Why, Greg? Has your life become this, really?
Wade says it was too exciting. And how about that? Melissa was at that concert. That's wild. Did you even hear? You were messing with your ears. Did you hear what show that was?
No, I didn't.
The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Are you familiar with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
Yeah.
So
some country.
Yep.
Right.
So that's awesome. Small world, Melissa. That
That is.
Those county fairs, they get some good bands in, and a lot of people from all around the area will come and show out for us. So, but that's not why we're here. We're not here, much to Wade Farr's chagrin. We are not here to discuss my life in terrestrial radio. We are here to drink some beers and pull up some old memories of Husker football past.
Okay. Where shall we start?
I don't know. I thought you were going to talk about commitments first.
Don't you dare. I asked you right before we started, should I do anything with commitments? And you said, we'll work through that. I said, okay, I'll be Vanna White tonight then.
I don't know what that meant, everybody, when she said she'd be Vanna White.
Meaning that I'm not doing the work. All I have to do is turn over the letter.
Oh, how about that? Well, I think let's share memories throughout the show. It'd be a constant thread throughout the show.
Okay.
And how about this? Nebraska Strong, he's just going to get us going. It's on a lot of lists, Mr. Nebraska Strong. Biggest Husker bonehead play of all time. Frost calling an onside kick in 2022 against Northwestern with the lead in the third quarter. That game, of course, opened up the season. That game was a week 0 game in Ireland, which meant we had a week 1 bye. So we got to sit and stew and bitch and moan about that for 14 whole days, Minnie. You were a fan during this, so you actually know about this one.
I was. I remember thinking, gosh, I'm glad that I didn't go to Ireland.
Right.
And I felt sorry for all the fans that did.
It was on my list of games. I think it was when they first announced, I guess in 2018, maybe 2019. I remember I actually opened up a separate savings account to start like funneling, like squirreling away money into that to be able to afford to go. And then COVID happened. So
that's too bad.
So, and then then the twins were born, and I was like, I'm not going to Ireland with or without. There would have been about 6-month-old twins at the time. So,
yeah. So,
Perpetually King wants to know why we're reliving these again in a minute. I didn't want to interrupt you, although that's exactly what I did.
No, that's okay.
Just to laugh because it's July, because to prove that these plays can't hurt us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The damage has already been done.
Yeah. The only way that we can move forward is if we just say, okay, that happened in the past. That's not how we are anymore. And we're moving forward. Yes? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was going to say is didn't John have his after game reaction for the Northwestern game?
I'm sure he did, but that was also the game/weekend where the immediate instant reaction wasn't enough, because 48 hours later, John's live here on YouTube for the very first Monday Night Therapy.
Oh.
So.
Oh. Okay.
Isn't that hard to believe?
We needed therapy. Yep. 4 years ago. Well,
3 years.
3?
Ago. Yeah.
Was it 3?
2022.
Oh. Okay. Wow.
Wade wants to know what happened to all the money that I squirreled away. Life, hot water heater, just, yeah, we'll just put it that way. You save money. And classic example for all of you, whatever remaining Disney Pixar movies, movie fans, the 2009 movie Up, right? Where this couple, they're going to go on this vacation. They start putting coins in a jar, and then something happens. They got to break the jar open with a hammer and start all over. So life happens.
It's like that song from Alanis Morissette. I don't know the name of it. The one that says...
What's it about?
Something about there's like a fly in your soup, and the day after this guy wins the lottery, he dies, and meeting the man of your dreams, and then meeting his beautiful wife, something like that.
All
you
those
don't remember?
Those are all pretty
from the 90s.
I think.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. You were holding out. You knew the name of that song.
I knew exactly.
Why? Why did you do that?
Because you ought to know.
Why? That's what I have you here for.
Don't be a jagged little pill, Minnie.
Okay.
Anybody else with quickly Alanis Morissette references you can make before we move on? Ryder says, "Gray hair tonight, everyone." Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm this close to...
How's your bald spot going?
Wow. Me?
You.
I don't have a bald spot.
Put your head all the way down.
I don't. It was making me uncomfortable. How about that?
Yeah, there's one right there.
It's not a bald spot. It's just how...
I'll take a picture of it for you if you don't believe me.
It's just how the it's parted. You know, if you're going to keep abusing me, I'm going to have to drink, Minnie.
Okay, Greg.
What's Greg drinking today? What's Greg drinking today? Whoa. I have a lot of options. I have 4 different beers here. And I think it's important to let you, the good people of the Holger Maniacs, decide. Yeah, colic. Yeah. Cowlick, whichever. It's not. I'm not bald. I don't have a balding spot. I'm fine. Look at this majestic head of hair right here.
It's all furry up front. It's just right around here. Very dense from here forward.
All right. So the first option we have, all the way from Maine with love, Allagash Surf House Summer Lager. You can't read that. 5.5% alcohol by volume.
I think you've had that before.
I've not had that before.
No? Okay.
Then we have from Upland Brewery in Bloomington, Indiana, Campside Pale Ale. Leave no trace, it says. I show that to
had that
Garrett.
Either.
I've not had that. I show that to Garrett.
Oh, you've shown me these before. That's why I've seen them.
But not on the show.
Okay. I'm like, I've seen this. Okay.
Then we have Dogfish Head, which I believe is out of Delaware. Trying to look. I apologize. Anyway, this is Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, the Sea Quench Ale. And this is ale with lime.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And by the way, Garrett got a kick out of this one because leave no trace is something we say all the time when we're camping as scouts. And then last but not least, we have Drum Rolls from Odell. Drum Roll is the name of it. It's a hazy pale ale from Odell Brewing Company. And that is, they've been independent since 1989. I don't know what the hell that means. Fort Collins, Colorado.
Ooh. I know which ones I would choose. Wait, should we know the percentage of alcohol?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're all more respectable than the 9.5. This is 5%.
Okay.
I think we said this was 5.5. The Sea Quench Ale is 4 something. Hold on. I'm wearing my contacts. It's just 4.9. 4.9 here. And then the Campside Pale Ale is 5.4. So all between 4.9 and 5.5.
Okay. Fred says drum roll first.
Oops. All right, we have a nomination. Do we have a second?
And Tony says just go with the 5.5%, whatever that is.
That's the Allagash. Justin says 5.5. Roger says you're going to handle the rest of the show.
Guys, you know what happens when I handle the rest of the show. We'll talk about Dylan for the rest of the night. It'll be like a sleepover, talking about our crushes.
All right.
Kidding.
We've got 2 for drum roll and 2 for the 5.5. 1 for campsite. Thanks, David. Thanks for making it more complicated.
Is the drum roll the one with the lime?
No, that's the Sea Quench.
I like that one.
But we're letting the chat decide.
Oh, okay. Go with the Snurf beer.
I don't know what the Snurf.
Lilacus.
Oh, Surf.
The Surf beer. All
right. Here's the thing. We can probably drink more than one. By we, I mean me. So we'll start with the Surf House Summer Lager. Allagash. All right, thank you, Justin. That's it. All right, voting's closed. And we are ready to resume/begin the show.
I am so glad.
I could tell.
You got that taken care of.
Who would have thought, right? That whatever I'm...
Would you guys like me to go grab some bottles of wine from my wine fridge? We can talk about those for the next 20 minutes.
We didn't spend 20 minutes, first of all. And secondly, here's the thing. How many of those bottles of wine would you actually drink, though?
I mean, whatever.
How many bottles of wine can Minnie drink?
I don't actually know.
Yeah. We don't want anybody to get hurt. Although everybody is saying yes. Everybody wants to know what Walgreens wine you're drinking tonight.
I am just drinking my go-to.
Oh, okay. The mango White Claw.
I do like this. But you know what? This is 5% alcohol.
Well, hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
Vince tells me to learn to make a poll. We'll call it a survey because of who we have to deal with in this chat. And Keen says, boxes of wine from the pantry. I fixed it for you, Minnie.
Thank you.
So, and asking how much you could drink, Mr. Matney says she might be 2 glasses short in honor of Dylan.
Oh, very nice.
Know if you mean that.
I saw somebody in chat said a comment about Dylan earlier, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I was like, what do they mean, park slide? Roger Moore says the Raiola family purchased 8 yards of the old turf for the park slide.
Mm-hmm. It's brilliant.
It took me a second.
Here's the thing about that comment. That comment is a slow burn.
It is.
There's some believability to it.
Yes, thank you. Especially if you're gullible like me. Like I'm like, oh, okay, people are buying old turf. I get that. But for the park slide, maybe they own a slide, like a park where there's a slide. And then I was like, wait a second.
I think
why only 8 yards?
It probably didn't have to purchase it. The university probably said, here, you can have the 8 yards. We'll give you the extra 2 because we know that you're a little short.
Not right. Not right, Greg.
All right. Well, let's look at some more of our bonehead plays. Nebraska strong with one. The bonehead interception by Chubba Purdy against Iowa in 2023 in the end zone instead of running the ball with Purdy to win. I think that's look.
That game was a disaster. That game, Iowa likes to put on replay as often as they can.
Yeah, because that's the walk-off field goal, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And then they did it again in 2024. So, yeah.
If that's where it started. That was a nightmare of a game. A nightmare.
The problem, Mr. Matney, I'm sorry, I'm doing you a disservice. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5-Hour Podcast, is we have so many arm punts between Taylor Martinez, I hate to say it, Tommy Armstrong, etc. Like just like the Dylan Raiola, 8-yard, 9-yard slides. I thought about putting a compilation together, but let's face it, I don't have the time or the know-how or the desire. Look, we're doing the show live, which means we have to be somewhat prepared. This is the best you're getting in the beginning of July. I apologize. Like we have said it before, but this is a 3-person show. There's myself, there's Minnie, and there's you, the whole group.
You guys.
So, you're making my job easy when we just say, hey, let's talk about this. And then boom, you all bring,
does anyone ever watch the shorts that we do in preparation for this show, because if you do, you'll realize that Greg and I getting like synced up in anything is the hardest thing in the whole wide world. We can't even say with the Five Heart podcast together. We try, and it never works. So this is as good as it gets,
from a technical standpoint that there's a delay because the video and audio has to travel thousands of miles and it's never going to sync up. And we try every week just for you. So that we hope that you appreciate our efforts and the fact that we look a little bit foolish. Fred is here and says, because the title is when Nebraska football is not at its best. And he says, so what's that, 2004 to present? Welcome, Fred. We're glad you're here. Mm-hmm. We could go back to the 1960s if you wanted to. I don't know.
He's not wrong. Because I'm going, can I do my bonehead play?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Greg had this bonehead idea to have me watch the 2005 Alamo Bowl against Michigan. And he's like, you're going to love it. We're going to record it. And we watched the whole thing and we're winning the whole game. And then towards the end, the last, 2 minutes of the game, 3 minutes, something happens. And Michigan continues to throw the ball back and forth. It looks like a circus act to me. And I am like, what the heck is going on? This is unreal. And it didn't make sense. I guess the rules were a little different back then, and then they started to run it down. Wait, no.
Rules are the same. You can still lateral it as many times as you want.
Oh, that was not good. It was like 10 times.
Yeah.
And then they started to run it. Oh my, it's the first time I've ever seen it.
No. You're also new. You're a newbie.
Yeah. Only in this sport. Only in Nebraska Cornhusker world is being a fan for 10 years considered a newbie. This is what I've come to realize.
I used to have in the 80s, I had a Sports Illustrated VHS cassette, and it was bloopers, and it was all sports, not so much college, but like pro. And they call these that play, at least in I always refer to it as the West Coast weave, because you lateral it to somebody, and then he runs up, and then he laterals it back, and then you just slowly work your way down the field. It doesn't usually work. In this video that I had again from the 80s, it actually worked, and they scored a touchdown with it.
It just doesn't make any sense. It reminds me of the Savannah Bananas, like that type of, or the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, it's just to make fun of the sport practically. But they did it on us, and they almost scored. That was disgusting. That ruined the game for me.
Never mind me with one, and I almost had like this as another topic. I don't know if it's going to be a full show, but he says not a boneheaded play, but how about when Nebraska played Texas and the refs put a second back on the clock? I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, I think it was 2009. If not 2009, it was 2010 when Nebraska played at Texas A&M and lost like 9-6. And I just remember Matt Harrion, I think, or Mike McNeil, whoever our tight end was at the time. There was a big like fumble and a big scrum for it. And there's video replays showing the Texas A&M player punching the Nebraska player in the taint. And no whistle was called, nothing. It was not a good second half for Taylor Martinez. So I don't know. I thought about having that as a topic, but I opted not to. So we can talk about this is all tonight is all about Schadenfreude. Ben Cotton. Okay, James Boardman says that Ben Cotton was the tight end in question. So, living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast. That is a wonderful question, sir, and it is so good. I think I'm going to Greggle it. Yeah. The last time.
What's the question? I didn't see it.
Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast.
Yeah, that question.
Asked, I had it, and for the benefit of the video, I put it away. Said, when was the last time we beat a top 10 team?
Oh. That is a good question. When? Do I want to know?
And I think this has to do maybe with a team maybe finished the season in the top 10. At least Google AI says that the last time they beat a team ranked in the top 10 at the time, this is not even true. Like this is so dumb. Nebraska hasn't beaten an AP ranked opponent since 2016. Well, that's from 2024. Gosh dang.
What?
Last time we were unranked and beat a top 10 team. This is from huskerboard.com. 2011 versus Michigan State when Michigan State was ranked 9.
No wonder people laugh at us.
I'm getting a lot of mixed information. I apologize, everybody.
Do you think it's correct? 2011?
Sounds about right, honestly. Honestly, it's not ideal.
Well, okay. Can we put a pin in this and circle back to this later?
Pin.
Thank you.
What you got for me, boss person?
Well, I do. Okay. I guess we're circling back now. Yes. What I wanted to know is, what are the chances of us beating a top 10 team this season based on our schedule?
Okay. Well, let's take a look.
So obviously the first 3 are not going to be ranked.
Michigan is,
Michigan and Michigan State. Then we have Minnesota. I don't know.
Maryland, and then Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, Penn State, and Iowa. Honestly, I think
Penn State. Penn State's probably the only team on our schedule that could be a top 10 team, possibly, and Michigan, right? Is that what you think?
I think, top 10, I would think so, unless USC does something dazzling and unexpected.
Okay.
Let's see here. Doing a quick oh gosh. Why don't do this shit to me.
What?
No, not you. It's ESPN is stupid. So stupid. ESPN stupid. Can you hear that? That's awesome.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What's going on?
I don't know.
All right.
I got a pop-up ad. That's what's going on. This is just such inspiring content right now. I apologize to everybody. You can definitely tell that
what's going on?
July.
Greg?
I'm on the.
What have you been greggling?
What?
What have you been greggling lately?
No, not like that. It was. I was on ESPN. I I was trying to get some preseason rankings so I could actually see what teams have the potential to be in the top 10 conversation by the time we might get around to playing them. That's what I was doing.
Yeah. Well, Melissa says that she thinks Michigan might lose to Oklahoma the second weekend. I think you're right, Melissa. It's very likely. Oklahoma has gotten, if I'm not mistaken, Oklahoma got a really great quarterback, as well as I want to say they have some decent wide receivers. Are you back, Greg?
I've been here the whole time.
Okay. All right, good.
I just don't know anything about Oklahoma because it's not Nebraska, and I don't care about Oklahoma. Oklahoma sucks.
Michigan, right now, with Bryce Underwood and all their returners, they are looking really good. So, yeah. That's all.
But are they looking as good as Nebraska?
Actually, that's a really good question.
So
Nebraska has so many different variables now that need to work in our favor, that look like they're working in our favor. Time will tell.
According to on3.com in their article that was from a few weeks ago, Phil Steele predicts final top 25 ranking for the 2025 college football season. Mm-hmm. The top 10 in Phil Steele's mind is going to end up looking like this: Penn State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and Oklahoma and Michigan. So you have potentially two Big Ten teams or two teams on Nebraska's schedule in the top 10 at the end of the season. I don't know if Michigan's going to get there that early. Penn State, I think, is a legitimate contender. So,
okay, let me ask you a question. No, sorry. Okay, go ahead. Greg, don't do this. Go ahead, please. Please.
The first time, if the stars were aligned, I do like Nebraska's chances against Michigan. I think it's a good matchup for Nebraska, and Michigan will be without their head coach, as you have been on and on about and reminding us how disrespectful that is. But if Michigan's not in the top 10, if we're undefeated and we go to Happy Valley in November, now everybody stay with me. These are ifs. These are hypotheticals. These are just wishes. If Nebraska is undefeated going to Happy Valley, we may not be top 10, but we'll be top 15. Because we would have beat Michigan, we beat USC, UCLA, whatever that's worth. Minnesota, sorry, Tony.
That would be awesome.
Why not us?
Why not us?
And Mr. Matney, Google AI says the last time we finished in the top 10 was 1997.
Ooh, it's been a while. So what you're saying is there's a chance.
I think why not, right? Again, let's get it done. Let's make something happen.
Here's what's ridiculous. I'm looking at Michigan's schedule right now. First off, okay, they start off August 30th against New Mexico. Then they have Oklahoma. Then they have Central Michigan. Then they play against Nebraska. Then Wisconsin. So far, I mean, their schedule looks pretty good. Then they play against USC. Then Washington. Then Michigan State. Then Purdue, who has no hope whatsoever. Then Northwestern. Then Maryland. and they finish with Ohio State. So they have a pretty easy schedule, other than the Oklahoma and Nebraska games.
And realistically, Ohio State too, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Tony says, Greg, are you drinking beer or Kool-Aid? Yes.
Because he didn't like you saying that about Minnesota, I'm sure.
Oh, no. That's fine. I think he's talking more about being undefeated and going into Happy Valley. Fred says, why not us? Because our offensive line still sucks, and we have to replace some good defensive line players. No. Fred, you missed a recent show, I think, then, sir.
Our offensive line does not suck.
We've been saying this
for a long time.
We have to stop making fun of Elijah Pritchett. Okay, can you do that for me, Fred? Can you go 1 week, Fred, without any references to his alleged past? And then it's going to be like a snowball effect. And then next week you won't bring it up again. And before you know, by the season gets here, you'll forget that there's a potentially checkered or controversial history there at all. I believe in you, Fred. I believe in you. Believe in yourself.
James wants to know, did you get his email about bonehead plays?
You know I did, James. I just don't respond to him. I figure I'll respond to him here on the show. He's basically saying that because we've gone off topic.
Oh, okay. He's trying to reel you in. Obviously, I'm not doing a very good job at that.
Living in Omaha, David
Matthews. Village. Stop. Greg, if you put your head down every single time I happen to be talking.
No, it's when you interrupt me.
I wasn't I was not finished talking.
Oh, no. We'll go back to the video. The video will clearly say that you stopped.
I was not done talking. I said it takes a village because my job is to get you back on topic. Okay. All right. Just wait till I'm done. Then we won't have this problem.
It's true. I'm clearly a problem, everybody. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, says, how did Penn State recover from the potential death penalty from the Sandusky scandal from 15 years ago to where they are today? Better recruiting, better coaching. I mean, yeah, they had Bill O'Brien for a little while, but he's proven himself at the NFL level. And then they've had, his name just escaped me. All I can think of is Keegan-Michael Key doing the parody of him.
Nebraska
James Franklin.
Go Big Red.
I got that.
Yes. He says, it drives me nuts that Penn State is back to dominating while we continue to live in misery.
We didn't have a scandal at all like Penn State, right? We just had a coach who was a hothead on the sideline, did not, and look, there's one thing about not mincing words, like just being forthright, but not being an ass, and the inability to win the big games and honestly just keep those games close and competitive. So we went from that to Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Rogers was always ever going to be temporary. And then we had Scott Frost, and then things just got worse. To think that, 8 years went by. If we include Bo Pelini, he's still the best head coach we had until Matt Rule, like almost a decade. That's tough. It's tough. It's clearly more difficult to recover from that than from tearing down a statue of Joe Pa and, everything that Penn State had to endure. So.
I haven't been a fan the entire time, but obviously what it boils down to is exactly what you just brought up, Greg, and that is coaching choices. You got to have head coaches that make a difference. And we had quite a few that didn't.
1970s child, in their own response to the question, says Penn State followed all the requirements to save their program and got an early release from their probationary period. Penn State is just a blue blood and will always get recruits. And
so are we.
Yeah, no. Bo Pelini famously said, "Oh, you can't recruit to Nebraska."
That's not true.
He said that.
There you go.
I'm saying
what I said a couple seconds ago. Obviously, we haven't had great head coaches because you can recruit to Nebraska. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to.
Bill Callahan did, because that's how Bo Pelini won, was with Callahan recruits. And Callahan was ran out of town. Bo Pelini had success, made it to a couple of Big 10 championship, or sorry, Big 12 championships. Was again never able to win the ones that mattered, and his sideline and off the field attitudes became too pervasive, and Sean Eichhorst had to make the necessary changes. Again, everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. You can't. Bo Pelini was never going to win consistently. He was never going to win the big games.
Obviously,
Mike Riley,
he's an assistant coach.
Yeah, and a darn good one too.
That's fine.
Won a national championship as the defensive coordinator at LSU. But then you go to Mike Riley, and Mike Riley is a beloved human, beloved individual, but a 500 ball coach. And that's exactly what he was at his time in Nebraska. He just towed the line. Then he went from there to Scott Frost, and again, the hype train and the expectation that maybe not, there were certainly some detractors, but I'll say by and large, everybody was happy to have the native son come home, and there was too much pressure, wasn't the right fit. Now we have Matt Rule. I'm pleased as punch. I don't think.
Pleased as punch.
Write that down. You have to weather all the storms.
I am not writing it down.
to see the sunshine, right? And I'm a big believer in Matt Rule. I like how he's not too reliant on the transfer portal. Like, he is going out and, as we'll talk about, I'm sure tonight at some point, he's getting, big guys for the offensive line, and he's, starting to, he's using the transfer portal to fill key spots, but he's not relying on it for roster turnover like, the Boulder A-hole, the clown of Colorado did. I'm just a big fan of Matt Rule. I like his approach to everything. It's old school, and I hope that he has the success that Nebraska fans desperately need him to have and need the program to have, so that we can hold on to him for a long, long time.
Okay. I got to address a couple of these things. Vince Watson says, just look at the population in the 500-mile radius. Yes, I see. If you're referring to like recruiting to Nebraska, I see that there's lesser of a population to choose from. However, Nebraska has history. They're also the only team in the whole state. It shouldn't be difficult to recruit to Nebraska. Plus, look, the fan base is across the country. Everybody knows about Nebraska.
And that, there was the fan base, one of our 2026, I believe, commits, or maybe 2027, who said, the fan base is what kind of helped draw him in. But you got to understand that these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, or transfer portal-wise, they're 19, 20, 21-year-old young men. And Nebraska has no history in their lifetime. So unless they're being sold on coming here and flipping the script and writing the ship and cliche, there's, you can go back and you can look at 5 national championships, but they're like, oh yeah, I remember my uncle telling me about that.
Well,
there's nothing really relevant to them. But we have a tremendous fan base. Obviously, we're all here. We have facilities. We have coaches. We have tremendous upside. We just have to see, just like Haas said a few weeks ago on Monday Night Therapy. And I'm not saying that one is tied to the other, but you can see similarities between just the Nebraska program at large and Dylan Raiola. Ton of potential. We haven't seen it maximized yet.
Here's a thought to add on to that. Up until recently, we couldn't pay players. Is that fair? Like now things are really evening out. So that's why there's going to be a ton of really great talent just across the Big Ten because we can pay players.
And I don't disagree with 1970s child here. Pennsylvania is a hotbed for college football talent in the state, and a lot of those kids do want to go to Penn State. Nebraska used to have that type of direct access pipeline to in-state kids. There's just not the Brock Knutsons or the gosh dang it, I've already forgotten his name. I feel horrible about the edge rusher we had from Scotts Bluff, Garrett Nelson. I got it.
One of my favorite players.
Those Western Nebraska kids aren't, it's still good competitive football, but it's not Division I quality, most of those players. So hopefully, like the Carter Nelsons, start to turn things around. But 1970s child's not wrong. And if your in-state options are Penn State, Pitt, maybe Temple, Penn State's going to be, again, that blue blood that they're going to.
Temple FCS? I think they are.
I don't remember. But regardless, I mean, it's even if they're a group of 5, I don't think they're FCS. I think they're Division I.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
Say it again. I don't ever hear it.
Right. Greg, it's your birthday in 2 days. Guess what? You're right.
Yes, that's all I need. That and my cold beers. Yeah, if you're a high school kid, unless you're from truly like Western PA and you're like grew up a Pitt Panthers fan, you want to go to Happy Valley. You want to be a Nittany Lion, and I understand that.
Of course.
But all right, moving on. This is not a Penn State show. This is
actually, but this was a good discussion because it just goes to show we're due. And if we don't get what's coming to us, we are going to
revolt.
I don't even know, but we're definitely, yes, it's going to be a civil war. Okay. In college football, civil war.
We don't need any more civil wars in this country. Melissa says, come on, guys. We're Husker fans. We're going to start winning now. Have faith.
Yes. Good job, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa, the voice of reason.
James Boardman with a great one here. Can't spell Pelini without 4 L's. Ugh. He won at least 9 games every year, but never, he went 10-3. Just, with bowl games, just again couldn't win the big ones when it mattered. So, all right.
What about you, Greg? Do you have any bonehead plays that you want to talk about?
I do. Fortunately, some of them have been mentioned, like the onside kick. Then there is 2014 Nebraska at Michigan State, and this is the one that I love so much. If there's one play that lives rent-free in my head for no other reason than I can't believe something like that actually happened, it's Jake Cotton, the slowest timber false start of all time, as Tommy Armstrong is in the shotgun. It's something to behold. just I don't have images. I'm not prepared. Sorry, James. I know you sent pictures, but it's been a long week. I tried to find a GIF. Here, let me. I'll just do this. This is about all I can do. I'm just going to share my screen real quick so everybody can see, because that's what I do. We all remember, it's like, where were you when the slowest fall start in the history of college football took place?
Oh.
Just a slow sit down. And even in these images here, I don't know why Larry Fitzgerald's there, but you get it in various stages, right? So,
yeah.
Makes me chuckle every time I think about it. So.
That's not even the what I thought you were going for, because I think there's another one against Michigan State.
There is, and it was much more recently. I think it was in 2021 or 2022. It was the infamous punting to the wrong side of the field. And actually, I'm not the only one that had that. Joe Lalekis also shared that one. That was it was 2021. Punting to all of our coverage is going to the right side of the field. The punt goes to the left side of the field. Nebraska was leading at the time, and the return man, who was quality player in his own right, but he basically just walked into the end zone. So that was disappointing. So those are
disappointing.
Those are three. And then the other one that I have, and again, I can't remember the year or the opponent, but it was Wan'Dale Robinson. It was actually a touchdown. But it was, we all remember Wan'Dale Robinson, small, like a cannonball type running back, but I believe he was a slot receiver on this. It was a 5-10 yard touchdown reception, but he just got clocked. And I think that's when he decided, he's like, you know what? I don't need to take this abuse. I'm going back home. And that's when he transferred to Kentucky in the offseason. So those are my four.
Good ones. What were the rest of James?
Yes. So glad you asked. James. So he had the Jay Cotton dedicated to holding his stance while his center of gravity shifted backwards. He had Cam Taylor-Britt, 2021 against Illinois, takes a punt at the 1 yard line, gets pushed back into the end zone, throws the ball out of bounds at the 4, and the result of that play is a safety. He had the Caleb Lightbourne 2018 versus Ohio State. He whiffs on an onside kick, resulting in a 1 yard kickoff and an offside penalty. Luckily for Nebraska, Ohio State did not take advantage of the good field position, but it didn't really change the outcome in that game. And then lastly, he says 2024, Dylan Raiola sliding 2 yards short of the first down marker twice in one season.
Oh, thanks, James.
And he said, enjoyed the picture. He did send a picture. The picture's of Patrick Mahomes for extra fun. So again, sorry, James, like you said, this damn parade thing just popped up yesterday, so it affected my ability to properly prep for the show. It's all my fault. I'm a piece of shit.
Greg, why would you say that?
I'm just having fun.
Okay. The only one, I mean, I feel kind of like Nebraska strong. You can't really blame players for bad plays, especially given the coaching that we've had. But I'm more adept to what?
I'm going to disagree.
Why?
You can't blame the player. I can't blame Wan'Dale Robinson or even the quarterback at the time, which was, I think, Adrian Martinez. I cannot blame them for the play call. I cannot blame them for trying to get the touchdown in a probably what was a tight game. I can blame Jay Cotton for falling down. I can blame Dylan Raiola for sliding, not knowing not being field aware.
These things happen. I mean, that's just a.
I have never
seen an accident.
I have never seen a quarterback slide early more than Dylan. Melissa's right.
Melissa.
Wrong. A kicker that kicks to the wrong side of the field is completely to blame. Caleb Lightmore with his 1 yard onside kick, completely to blame. So.
Well, okay. So what I was going to say is, like, last year at the USC game, the last play of the game, we should have won that game. Clearly, Jamal Banks was being held, and the ball got intercepted by a USC player, and I'm standing there waiting for the call, or for the refs to make the call, and they never did. And so is Dylan. Dylan's standing there going, okay, clearly. I mean, he's like being held. Those types of things, that's what I really don't want to see anymore. Are bad plays or bad missed calls by refs.
I could definitely put like the giving 1 second back to Texas in the 2009 national championship, or conference championship. I would put that in that bracket. Like the number of times that and do I hate officials? Yes. Do I want to be an official? No. So it's easy for me to say, It's but there are times where some things should get another look at. And at the same time, you could easily say, especially in a conference like the Big Ten, somebody's going to know the exact number, but the number of consecutive games in quarters that it was, I don't know, 30 plus quarters of Big Ten football that Nebraska did not, that Nebraska's opponents, like offensive line, were not called for holding. That happened. It seemed like that streak went for weeks, months, or years. Maybe it was longer than 30 quarters. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like when the Big Ten finally threw a flag and blew a whistle against a Husker opponent for holding, it was like it was like the second coming of Christ. Like, it was such a celebration, because nobody ever expected it, So I don't know. There are. I put the USC game, the outcome of that one, I put that in a different category. That's not a bonehead play that, like, we look at and grab him by the helmet and you say, what the fuck were you thinking type of moment.
Okay. Greg. David Matney says, right here, he says, you have to play good enough that bad calls are not in play.
I agree.
And we all agree. However, somebody has to stand up for Nebraska. Isn't that what Matt Rule said? Just last year, he got a penalty because it's just egregious. The calls sometimes and the missed calls that we it just seems to always not go in our favor. So I think that we just need to hold them accountable. Is that fair? Can we bitch about it and just say, okay, we need to hold these refs and this organization accountable?
Sure.
And those are my, sorry. I'm sorry for yelling, guys. I'm so sorry. But I just, it makes me so mad when we're that close and we get, I mean, it's obvious. I thought, and I can't, I'm the last one to see any kind of penalty on a field. And I saw it.
From your
chair,
from your seat in the stands on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Or was that
it was close. It was on the side I was on. Yeah.
Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, says, funny thing, I never remember Scott Frost or Tommy Frazier sliding.
Wow, he is just picking on me tonight.
And he also says Bo Pelini stood up for the players and against the officials and was ran out of town. So that's Mr. Boardman's. Gone through my list. Many we've hit a couple of yours. And we also have Joe Alexis's list. And
when are we doing the Five Heart Pod or the Five Heart Theater?
Well, it's only 10 o'clock.
Come on, let's give them a treat. It's going to be fun.
Let's do Joe Alexis's list first.
Okay.
Because we have some duplicates. Obviously, there's a 2022 onside kick debacle in
Can
Ireland.
I just say, wait, let me just say something. You guys are going to love this. It is so fun. Greg, you came up with one of the characters, and it's going to be so good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're going to have fun doing this Five Heart Theater by yourself because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get a line in without being interrupted. So
I'll mute myself.
Now I'm in trouble, everybody. Oh, by the way, Fred's still waiting for the Five Heart Podcast. Fred, sir. All right, so Joe's list was, again, some we've discussed, the punt to the wrong side of the field against Michigan State, the onside kick against Northwestern, Adrian Martinez getting the ball stripped after picking up 3 yards on 3rd and 1 against Michigan. This is another one that I would blame on the officials if we were able to, because the amount of time, I consider that, and again, biased Nebraska fan, I get it, but should have been whistled. Play should have been whistled dead as loss of forward momentum. They let that play go on, and I'm sure Adrian Martinez is like, I guess we're not going to blow the whistle, and then the ball.
That's so frustrating. Okay, I just have. What year was that?
2021.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the last one was that he provided was 06. Terrence Nunn dropping a lateral pass against the Longhorns, the Texas Longhorns. That one is the snow game. So those were his 4.
The 2021 game, I remember that because we were winning. Weren't we winning like 50-3 at some point or something like that?
Say
or
50-3?
I don't know. It's something crazy. We were winning at halftime, though.
Yeah, definitely wasn't that. We lost 32-29. We were winning 13-0 at half. I'm sorry. No, we were down 13-0 at halftime. And at the end of, we had a 22-point third quarter. We went up 22-19. And then,
Seemed like we should have won that game. I do remember it. In my mind, it was 50-3. I don't know how I came up with that score.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
So
2021. Yeah.
Well, that's a long time ago.
It's only 4 years ago.
A lot can change in 4 years, Minnie.
Lots can change. Thank you very much. Yes.
Joe says at the time of the fumble, it was, I think, 3rd down at the 21. So, living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, says Jeff Sims' feeble attempt at trying to pick up a fumbled snap with his hand. And look, there was a lot of those, and we can even attribute them to a young Cam Jurgens, bad snaps. Just, again, it's kind of like the Dylan Raiola 2-yard, shy slide. It's just bad football. Oh, Joe clarifies tied in the 3rd. Yeah. Or tied. No, I thought that I might be wrong. I thought that I probably was wrong. I thought the fumble happened in the very end of the game, but I digress.
I love that Trojan Fight shows up, even though we have nothing positive to say about USC. Go Big Red. We were just talking not very nicely about USC.
I wasn't. Minnie was not talking very nicely about USC. I wasn't talking.
I just felt like we should have won the game last season. That's all. So.
Kaylee's here late as always. Jeez. Shows up on time one time last week and thinks she can just waltz in whenever. But she says the big difference was that Cam was a tight end coming out of high school. And now he's like the second highest paid center in the league and has a Super Bowl ring and was a Pro Bowl caliber center in his first year starting. So
that just goes to show you what I did not interrupt you. I was just adding to this.
Yeah. If Scott Frost did anything right, it was, convincing Cam Jurgens to switch from tight end to center. And I think Cam would agree. So
yes, that was what I was going to say. Good going, Greg.
And I was able to say without being interrupted.
Stop it.
It is weird that he saw that potential, or at least saw the need. I remember Cam was a hell of a thrower, like track and field thrower, like shot put and discus. So I don't know how one correlates to the other as far as being a thrower, being a center, but he did great.
And Fred says, Kaylee, that's because he was sober that day.
So sometimes it only takes one. All right. Well, everybody, it's about 10:15 here in the Central Time Zone, God's favorite time zone. We have some recruiting news to get to, but I think we probably need to. Why save the main event? Why put the main event on last when you can put it in the middle of the card? It's time. Minnie, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm very. Yeah.
Fred is ready. Look at that. That is 1, 2, 3.
Are you ready?
Points. Kaylee's been here the majority of the time, but they're shooting fireworks off in the backyard.
Oh, that's so fun.
That sounds safe. Are you okay?
The music started again in my ear. I just press a button.
What music are you listening to?
I don't even know. I have no idea. It just goes on. It's these beats. Like if you just, because they fall out of my ears all the time. So I have to press it so it doesn't. I'm not wearing them again.
AirPods fall out all the time. The world's an imperfect place.
No, they're
I know.
And they I don't know. You just barely touch them, and they're like so sensitive. They start playing something else.
I was modifying a line from The Breakfast Club, where John.
Wait, say it again.
He says in the movie, he says screws fall out all the time. The world's an imperfect place.
Oh. So. I love The Breakfast Club movie. Good call.
Fred says, "What WTF is in Minnie's White Claw? She's hallucinating." That's right, because nobody else can hear the music, so there's no way to tell if
it is so weird that it just starts playing, and it's scary because I'm one of those people. I can get scared pretty easily. Like I get so focused on what I'm doing. If somebody walks up to me and says hello, it'll make me jump back like a foot because I don't see it coming. It happens all the time.
Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, says Five Heart Theater. 1970s Child says Kickstart My Five Heart. Kaylee says amazing song reference. It's appreciated. And Vince Watson says to beard or not to beard, that is the question. Let us bring to you this week's Five Heart Theater.
It's taking a while for me to get into costume.
It's taking her a while to get into costume.
Okay.
By the way, holy shit, what the hell are you wearing? That is the tiniest Uncle Sam hat I've ever seen.
It's a headband.
Time for the drum roll. Perfect time for drum roll with what you're about to witness here. I have not read through the script, so this is going to be as much of a surprise for me as it is for you. Let's begin Five Heart Theater.
Wait, one more time.
Oh, I got to do the intro again?
Yeah, because the beard was falling off.
The beard was falling off. Okay. Usually you only play this at the end of Five Heart. Let's go again. Titled Stars, Stripes, and Championships. Minnie.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to the Five Heart Podcast, the show where Husker pride burns brighter than a firecracker on the 4th of July. I'm your host today, but you can call me Uncle Sam. That's right, I've traded my red, white, and blue for a little scarlet and cream tonight. And I've got a very special guest, a true American treasure. Some say he's the founding father of the Nebraska dynasty. The man, the myth, the mastermind behind how many national titles? Coach Tom Osborne.
Well, thank you, Uncle Sam. I'm honored to be here. And if I'd known you'd be in full patriotic costume, I might have brought a flag to wave myself.
Coach, you are the flag. You're the living embodiment of hard work, humility, and heartland greatness. Tell me, when you were building those championship teams in the 90s, did you feel like you were fighting for freedom too?
We were fighting for fourth quarters, field position, and a little bit of respect. But yes, there's something very American about taking a group of young men from different backgrounds and turning them into a disciplined, unified team.
That's what I love to hear. America is about melting pots, and so is Memorial Stadium on game day. Now, tomorrow's Independence Day, but today we're declaring our independence from mediocrity. No more 6-win seasons. Right, Coach?
That's the spirit. It's time we remembered what made Nebraska football great. Toughness, discipline, and a little bit of option offense never hurt either.
I knew you'd say that. I was hoping you'd drop a triple option play on a napkin during the podcast, but maybe we'll save that for the tailgate episode. Now, Coach, if America had a depth chart, where would Nebraska football rank?
You know, I'd say we're first string in heart, grit, and tradition. We may be rebuilding, but the soul of Husker Nation, that's something you can't coach. It's inherited.
Goosebumps, Coach. Actual goosebumps. All right, before we wrap, I want to ask you, if you had to give America a halftime speech this 4th of July, what would you say?
I tell the team, America in this case, to remember what got us here: unity, sacrifice, and vision. We may have disagreements, but we're still wearing the same jersey. In the second half, it's ours to win if we play together.
Coach, you just gave Lady Liberty a standing ovation. I think even the Liberty Bell cracked again from emotion. You can do this the rest of this.
I'm supposed to play the outro?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is why y'all show up on Thursday nights. I know you love the Five Heart Theater.
That was a really good one. This might have been the best Five Heart Theater of all time, in my opinion.
Let's see.
I think it was
Fred
good.
says, "Oh shit, bring it home, Greg Osborne."
Yes, see?
Let's see. Mr. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, says, "What would happen if someone tuned in right in the middle of this?" Fred says they'd call the FCC and probably double their meds. James says they double check their gummy milligrams. Douglas Cody said, actually, Devaney started it all.
Oh, ouch. Very good point, Douglas Cody. I love that.
I'll tell you what, we can name Tom Osborne among the founding fathers of Husker football as what it is today. So, you know what? I'll take this one. Let's see here. Oh, it was here a minute ago. I think you deleted it because it was something nice about me.
What? No, I don't delete those. I just ignore them.
Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast, says that's actually a pretty spot on Tom Osborne. I don't know if you're talking about the performance and how the words were delivered, or if you're talking about the writing itself. I hope you're talking about the writing, because I feel like that was tougher than me just sitting here reading a bunch of lines and not.
I thought it was very patriotic. What's better than Greg? You came up with this. I have to give Greg his props, okay, you guys, because I was like, if we do another Five Heart Theater, I just want to wear a beard, and I have a white one, so can I be Uncle Sam? And then I said, but who would you be? And he came up with a great idea that he could be Tom Osborne. Now, what better 4th of July present is that? This is like amazing. Great idea. I loved it.
Fred says he was talking about the hat, not me, the hat. Living in Omaha, David Matney says both the writing and the performance. Fred says next week Greg plays Devaney and Minnie is Rosie the Riveter. Joe says not a single dadgummit. Simon Davis here says correct. That's right. Tom Osborne was on Bob Devaney's staff. And Kaylee says we're at halftime. That's saying we're solid for another 250 years. Pretty good in my opinion. So I would like to think that hopefully the United States would go beyond 250 years. But I'll be long dead, so I don't care. Can we talk? This has been pissing me off, and every week I forget to bring it up.
What?
By the way, kudos to you and Shelby, because Living in Omaha, David Matney says this is one of the better Five Heart Theaters.
And you, Greg. You came up with the Tom Osborne part.
Fred says it's my favorite. All the others are second place. But speaking of the future, a number of years ago, a movie was made, and it was 2015. This movie was filmed. The movie is not going to. It's completed, by the way, produced, ready. It is not going to be released until the year 2115.
What is it?
It's called 100 Years, the movie you will never see. It stars John Malkovich. It is directed by Robert Rodriguez. Again, these are big names. But I'm pissed off that I'm not going to see it. And I'm really curious about what it's about. It's just a sci-fi movie it's like locked in a safe somewhere.
Greg, Can you please explain to me what made you think of this? I mean,
We're
it seems a
talking
little
about
off topic.
talking about 250 years of America, and just like I think my mind is thinking in the long game.
Okay, and how many beers have you had?
Oh, this is just my second. We're good.
Just your second. Okay.
This is not even
Okay.
this one here. Forgot.
What'd you get?
I got the drum roll, the hazy pale ale. Each year we select the rockstar hops of the harvest to craft this bold, juicy, tropically hop-forward brew, drumming up a citrus-inspired rhythm for what's to come. This is the one that's from Fort Collins. This is 5% alcohol by volume.
Cheers, Greg.
Cheers, Minnie.
Anyone doesn't know it's not only Shelby's birthday today and America's birthday tomorrow, but it's Greg's birthday on Saturday.
True.
As well as Jason Reeves, but he's not here. He must be celebrating. And Greg, you received a little package in the mail, right?
Yes, I wouldn't call it a package, but yes, something arrived in the mail.
What would you call it?
I don't know. Just with Fred around, I try not to use the word package.
Oh, okay. Would you like to open it?
It's upstairs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can go get it.
How many stairs is there?
11. 11 up, 11 down.
Okay.
You want me to go get it?
If you want to. I mean, it's a gift that I ordered and had sent to you.
Okay.
That would be appropriate, I thought, for the show. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I just started a comment at 10:28 from 1970s Child. Don't highlight it yet.
Oh, I see that.
It's
okay.
That's a badass shirt. I don't care what anybody says. I'll be right back.
Let me go get it. That's a good one. Okay.
I'm not gonna run, so you know.
Run.
That's not gonna
run. You guys, I love that you get the reference to the Gregel music. Like, it's a little bit folksy. It is folksy, but it's also like a nod to like a bar mitzvah, like the Jewish tradition. And I think every time it plays, it just makes me think that we're having a party. Like, people are dancing, there's chairs, they're sitting on chairs, and we're just, that's exactly what I picture. So thank you, Fred and Aaron Keene, because he says, I forgot about the music being from Gregel on the Roof. It's a great musical. If you haven't seen it, Fiddler on the Roof is what they're talking about. And that is such a great movie from the 70s. It's about the Jewish tradition.
What?
We're talking about Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, yeah, because the music that plays during Gregling?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good music. Okay, drum roll. I don't have one of those.
No, that's what I'm drinking right now.
It is. It's a good point.
1970s Child, by the way, says Budweiser is the king of beers, although I don't drink anymore. They do like to call themselves that. But I don't care for Anheuser-Busch beer. So this is.
Where's that from?
Will it give it away?
What town in the US of A?
This here?
What town is that shipped from? Yeah, that.
Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
There you go. Okay.
What was the relevance of that?
Because if anyone's been watching the show for any length of time, they should know where it's from.
That's right.
We've discussed this.
We have discussed this. All right, everybody ready? Mm-hmm. I have no idea what to expect. I'm a little terrified, everybody, just so you know.
No, it's just it's more of a thought gift.
Why is it meowing?
Oh, a good movie reference. Kaylee's a bud drinker. Are you peeking in there just to make sure that it's safe to pull out?
Maybe.
It's a glitter bomb.
Don't give her idea, Fred.
That would have been perfect. Next year.
There's so much tape.
Maybe it's beer swag.
Kaylee, calm down. Well, the truth is that now that I can see what I'm working with here, this is the Superior Brew. You all know, Fred, my discreet brown packaging. So, what we have here, a Yuengling USA shirt. This is awesome.
I hope it fits. I had to
America's oldest brewery, perfect for the show's oldest crotchety old man guy. And
will it fit, do you think? I hope.
Yeah, I'm still fat. Don't worry.
Okay.
A Yuengling cookbook.
Because I was like, okay. 2 of your favorite things that I know of are
beer?
Cooking. Yeah, food, cooking, and beer. Please tell me you don't already have one.
A Yuengling cookbook? I have lots of cookbooks, but no Yuengling cookbooks.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Good.
It even what's cool about this? Check this out. It has the this is great, but it has the cookbook broken down by what type of beer you'll use. So, like, the first part is just their traditional lager, and then what you can make with their light lager 99, the black and tan, the golden pilsner, the porter, the flight, etc. So, Cajun beer battered fish with their premium light beer.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be on that.
Yuengling Hershey's chocolate porter. You can make banana bread with. Oh,
what? That sounds amazing. Okay, I mean,
that's not nice.
What?
I don't need any just for men.
Maybe for that bald spot.
Minnie got this. Ordered the shirt in extra fat just for me. Thanks, Fred. Not wrong.
I like to read cookbooks, even if I'm not going to cook everything that they have. I love reading cookbooks. I have no idea why. But
I can make beer gravy.
Oh boy.
Beer battered onion rings.
Really healthy.
What else we got here? Onion ring. They just need the pictures. I'm just gonna say they just need the pictures. Braised pulled pork, brined chicken wings, cheesy onion dip. Oh. Wouldn't you just know that all the pictures on the inside, they're not of the food you can make, it's just their beer. And here we go, a lager barbecue sauce. This is interesting because I'm actually going to try to make barbecue sauce this weekend. So this comes around just the right time. Nice. Thank you so much, honestly.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. I didn't get you anything.
All right. It's not my birthday.
I know.
Okay. Aaron Keene says, let's resurrect the gravy truck. John was going to do a gravy truck.
I forgot about
your own food. You have to bring your own food to the gravy truck.
That's awesome.
You can make your own gravy.
I could. Let's see. Nate McHugh, Coronation contributor and writer Nate McHugh says, does Dylan transfer after this season?
How dare you? That's disgusting. At this point in the show, who asked questions like that?
Nate.
That's not right. No, he doesn't. No.
I'm not going to answer that question because I just don't want to. 1970s child says, I only drink beer at bars or parties, not at my home. Stopped drinking when I stopped the bars and parties. Felt the Lord wanted me to end all that. Been a while back. I have a buddy of mine who stopped drinking, and it really kickstarted his health journey. So I don't know if I like myself enough to stop drinking, so we're just going to keep doing this. We're going to keep celebrating each and every Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
If it's ever a 5-heart night and I'm not having a beer, ask if I feel okay, because I probably don't.
Okay.
All right.
I will. I'll be like, oh, yay.
Husker Bob says, I once went on a self-guided tour of a Yingling brewery until they interrupted me. Security was pretty lax. Sounds like how I'd like to spend my birthday, honestly, Husker Bob.
Was that in Pottsville, Pennsylvania?
Maybe. Let's see. I know the answer to this question. Douglas Cody asks, when is your birthday? I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. I'll just say it. We haven't hit it yet this calendar year.
Yet.
I mean, because obviously.
And let's see here. It's 10 days before the Michigan game.
Nope.
That helps.
Nope. It's not even right.
10 days after. 10 days after I met. 10 days after the Michigan game.
I'm not even sure that's right.
That is September 30th. And for those of you here, this is going to be a very, like, Greg, you're turning 43, right?
Yep. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna say what I think you're about to say? Because you don't have to. Nobody will judge you.
I don't know, but I feel like I need to be honest with people. It is a milestone. It is a milestone birthday. How'd you know? It's like the biggest milestone anybody can hit other than 13 or 16 or 21.
100?
I feel like that's what I feel like. Yeah. Fred knows. That's all I'm going to say.
Kaylee says, if they ask what year for your birthday, just say every year.
Every year. That's a good one. I like that. I'm the same age as Matt Rule.
A little generous.
Rude. I'm the same age as Matt Rule and Scott Frost.
Well.
And Fred Sacco are going to be. That helps. I know. Guys, pity party for me.
Living in Omaha, David Matney with a football-related question.
Okay.
Not to change the topic. I just didn't know how long you wanted to pull that particular taffy.
I can pull it for like the rest of the year.
Okay. Mr. Matney wants to know, if we were not Nebraska fans, if we were just objective college football fans, would Dylan be a better quarterback attending Georgia or Nebraska?
Why does he ask these questions? Why? Like, does he feel a need to stir some shit up every single night? What? Why?
You'd have to ask him that. Mr. Matney, why do you have to stir that shit up all the time?
Okay, question. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. Would Dylan have started at Georgia? Look at Archie Manning. His third year. He's just now getting to start. I mean,
but in all fairness, none of those schools were in a position where they needed a true freshman to start.
Okay, it's not like we needed it. We
Well,
wanted it because we
according
love
to you,
Dylan.
according to you, we couldn't. God forbid we sat back and suffered another year at Heinrich Harburg at quarterback. That would be impossible to have to endure. I lobbied for that from the beginning. Let a kid hold a clipboard and learn for a little while. Don't put all that pressure on him. Maybe he wouldn't slide 2 yards short of the marker all the time.
Okay. The thing about Dylan starting as a true freshman, it gives him so much more experience than any other freshman quarterback out there, or sophomore quarterback out there. Excuse me.
Was he the only true freshman that started last year?
I know was he the only freshman that played every single game? I think so. We'll have to look that up. Can you Greggle that?
No, I'm not going to.
Come on. Please.
No, honestly, I'm not trusting Google AI tonight. They have, I felt led astray too much tonight.
Here's what Melissa says. Preach it, Melissa.
What does she say? You got to read it out loud.
I was waiting for you to.
No.
Please.
It's my birthday. Can't you do it for me, please?
Okay. Melissa says, it was for the good. He will be good this year. Mm-hmm. That's what she says.
Argue with Melissa.
You can't argue with Melissa. You can't. I dare you to argue with Melissa or Kaylee.
Fred says 2 yards shy in a cloud of Arby's wrappers. Dylan Raiola's 30 for 30. Or, you know, how Dylan bypassed the freshman 15 and went to the freshman 30.
No, he didn't. Oh my gosh. You guys. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. What?
Nothing. I was waiting for you to say something, and then you didn't say anything. So
okay.
Gotta laugh.
Well, Greg, it's been a fun show. Happy birthday.
We're not even done yet.
Okay.
We had some commitments this past week.
Yes, we did.
Now, we're not going to spend a ton of time on them because, you know.
We didn't talk about the wide receiver that we got.
We'll get to him.
Okay.
But on Monday, we got a couple of offensive line commitments. The first was, and maybe not first chronologically, but the first that I'm going to speak on here is Claude Pumo. I don't know. That's going to be fun. He's from Illinois, so I probably should know his name, but I don't. A towering 6'7", 307-pound offensive tackle from Mount Carmel High School. He is ready to make history, the 4-star offensive tackle. Chose Nebraska over Michigan, Ohio State, Florida, Auburn, and others. Like I said, he's a 4-star. The 127th overall player in the nation, number 12 offensive tackle, and number 3 overall player in Illinois. So that's one. And we got a 3-star offensive tackle, Leon Noyle Jr., and he's 6'7", 270 pounds, the number 45 ranked offensive tackle nationally, and he chose Nebraska over Mississippi State and Baylor, and it says in his commitment post on X that I made it home. So we will see. It's my understanding that, you know, he that for Noyle, he's got the frame and some raw ability to hopefully, you know, add on some Big Ten offensive line size and weight and things like that. So that's, again, another booster there. Then we have a couple of wide receivers. The first one coming to us from Georgia, Marietta, just outside Atlanta area. And that is 6'2", 205-pound receiver Nayland Scott. flipped from Arizona State. Sorry, Minnie. To Nebraska.
No worries. Mm-hmm.
All glory to God. He says, blessed to call this home. They said he was an Arizona State commit. He's physical, smooth on his routes, and has in our write-up on coronation.com, brings the kind of SEC country edge that should translate well to Big Ten football. So, and then last but not least, we picked up 4-star slot receiver Larry Miles, who, we had a few years ago, I think really in the Mike Riley era, we had the Nebraska, but for Larry Miles, he's calling it Flowbraska. 6 foot, 177-pound wide receiver from Winter Garden, Florida. Chose Nebraska over Miami, Louisville, and Pitt. Says, I'm home, baby. Flowbraska.
That was a very cool graphic that he had on his X. Flowbraska.
The Hayes Fawcett.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's an individual or a company, but he has certainly
individual.
Thank you. He has made a name for himself in these commitment graphics. So very cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Good job, Greg. Now,
Mr.
somebody
Matty,
in chat.
Let's not be so cynical yet. He says it's home until someone offers more money.
However, I will say this about the offensive linemen that we've gotten, that every single one of them identifies the relationship that they've created with Coach Raiola as the reason that they want, and other coaches as the reason they want to be at Nebraska, the reason they committed to Nebraska.
I like, and Da'Keil Shorts played a pivotal role in recruiting Miles. So he, again, Miles chose Nebraska over Pitt, Kentucky, Arizona, and Arkansas. So, again, a 3-star. He's the number 8 wide receiver nationally. So, I think that, throughout, if he has another successful, I would expect that 3-star will bump up. I'm sorry, Miles is a 4-star. Somewhere in there, I could have sworn there was a 3-star. No, so Miles is the 4-star. The other individual is a 3-star. My bad, everybody.
I think that's what you said originally, Greg.
Pull down the number 8 wide receiver in the country. We're going to, again, start turning heads, providing more weapons, not just for Dylan Raiola, but for TJ, for Dayton, for Trey Taylor. I just like the fact that we kind of have let's get more weapons. Let's see what can happen.
Kaylee asks a great question, and I just want to I know we're almost at 2 hours, but I think this is a great question that we should take. She says, based on these additions, which year do you think will be the year we legitimately compete for a Big Ten title? A lot of talent in the pipe, but returns come generally after development. 2026, 2027. The thing is it has not just that, but also the schedule, the strength of schedule is so important. And right now, I mean, if everything plays out, like if our offensive coordinator is the offensive coordinator he's supposed to be, and the wide receivers coach is the guy he's supposed to be, and these transfers are the guys that they're supposed to be, and our special teams coach is the guy he's supposed to be, and the rugby punter is the guy. I mean, there's a lot of ifs, a lot of variables, but we have strength of schedule in our favor. I think it's the second or third and best in the Big Ten. So I don't know why we can't. I mean, why couldn't we possibly? No, you don't think?
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just reading James Boardman's last comment because I know that it's just going to fire you up.
What?
He says 2028 will have a better quarterback. The 2020 5 schedules pretty fair and forgiving. I looked ahead to 2026, and assuming, and obviously we don't know dates on most of these games. We have the non-conference games, but I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse. I just want to look forward, as it pertains to your question, Kaylee, about some of these players, their development. Again, commits are great. They got to sign and fax in their letter of intent. Then they actually have to show up on campus. So, I'm as guilty as anybody else of jumping on that hype train that I was not a fan of, a couple weeks ago. But 2026, we have these are just our opponents again, not in order that we'll face them, but Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota. Then for conference games, you have Indiana, Maryland, Ohio State, Washington, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, Rutgers. Rutgers, Oregon, Michigan State, Iowa, Illinois, and Washington are all road games. So that's 6, I think, 5 road games out of the 12. I mean, you look at that, you have Ohio. If you're looking at what we know and what we can kind of predict, Ohio State, likely going to be a tough battle. Oregon, likely to be a tough battle. Washington, probably going to waffle a little bit in there. But that's another situation where you don't have Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon all on the same schedule. So 2026, if you want to look out that far, looks pretty favorable as well. It's just about getting guys on campus, getting them used to the Nebraska way of doing things, hitting the training table the right way, strength and conditioning, teaching the right fundamentals, which sometimes, unfortunately, means you have to unlearn bad habits. I think you all know me. I'm very optimistic about what's right in front of us, 2025. Let's go out there and just take care of business one game at a time. I know September 20th is a big one, and November 11th, I think, is a big one, or 18th, whatever it is there for Penn State. These are all key matchups, but the most important game for me is still going to be the next one. But it's also kind of fun to look at 2026 and say, yeah, it's not a murderer's row necessarily, of opposition. So continue to improve, take those logical next steps. You can't finish the regular season of 2025 at 500. You have to be, and I think, when I popped in on Monday Night Therapy this week, 8 wins, less than 8 wins is disappointing, honestly, because everything should be in our favor. You get more Matt Rule. This is, his 3rd season. This is where we see a big jump. You get our veteran quarterback now, who's not a freshman anymore. Can't use that as a crutch. You have a retooled offensive line. Do we have some questions? Sure, but so do most teams. We have a defensive line that we're going to have to fill some gaps in, but I think we had plenty of depth last year. Are you leaving?
Just waving to Joe.
All right. Sorry, I thought you were like, you're taking too long. I'm taking up. For getting these players in this 2026 class, I would see them in 2027, but that doesn't mean that we have to wait till 2027 to start winning. That's a very short way of saying all the BS that I just said. So.
Oh, I was going to say that's the short way. Kidding. I did not interrupt him. Not once. Not once. See? You're welcome.
See? It proof that it can happen.
That was almost painful, though.
Wow, really?
It was, because there were so many things I wanted to interject. I was like, wait a second. Then I lost my train of thought. So,
all right, Fred. Fred says he ran out of breadcrumbs. Well, all right, so tell us again.
Don't, because I will interrupt. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just call it good for tonight, Greg? Yeah? All right, good.
Wait, we got started comments we have to get to.
Okay, you can do the started comments.
James Boardman says it's like going to your first Cornhusker game and only liking the fireworks.
Yeah, thanks,
I don't know.
I think that was about something about the Ireland game. I forget what he was talking about.
Yeah, but I don't know who went to, said that going to their first Husker game, the highlight was the fireworks, though.
That wasn't it. That wasn't just it. It was watching part of the band at Misty's, and I don't know, it's just like everything. The whole atmosphere is fantastic. The best thing that I've ever been a part of, ever.
I'm going to do my best to sing this one. You're welcome in advance. It's like Dylan throwing up pick 6. It's a slide when you're already 2 yards short.
This is really good.
Thank you. I think I mentioned this earlier or highlighted this earlier, but perpetually indignant, aka Aaron Keene. I don't know if you want me to use your alter ego. I can do that too. Says it's so much harder to try and predict anything preseason with the portal carousel as it is. I don't disagree. 1970s Child says, I hate that the Pac-12 teams join the Big Ten and ACC. I like conferences based on geography, not on TV deals. I agree. I knew I liked you. That's because we've lost the geographical rivalries. I was thinking about this. I don't know the last time Kansas and Missouri played one another. And they had played each other every year for like 100 years. And then Missouri ended up going to the SEC, and I don't think they played each other since. They might have. I don't. Who are you saying bye to?
Melissa.
Bye, Melissa.
I think it's interesting how everyone wants to leave whenever you're talking.
That's fair. Sorry, everybody. I'm not on top of my
game. I'm kidding.
Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, says, are we still a blue blood? We are. It's a little faded, honestly, but you can't take away what Nebraska has meant to college football. And so I think for that reason, we're a blue, just like, and I don't follow college basketball as closely as I should, but like UCLA at a time, they were, they had gone decades without being super competitive, but again, because of what they meant in the history and the grand scheme of things, I think it's the same for Indiana. Indiana basketball be a good comparison to Nebraska football.
Okay.
What are your opinions? Oh, I guess we kind of talked about this. I apologize. Sean said, what are your opinions on the 2026 recruiting class that's currently ranked next to last in the conference? Kind of concerning, don't you think? I mean, I would say that we continue to build. We have to be more selective because we're, like all the other programs, we can't just sign as many players as possible and then figure it out. We have to maintain our 105 player roster. And so,
we're making sure that the guys that we are adding are OOU, right? You'll see that on the t-shirts. You'll hear everybody use that phrase, one of us.
Oh.
You're welcome. Greg? What happened?
I'm trying to make sense of this one.
Okay.
Kaylee says, I'm so glad you brought up KU and those assholes to the east. Those cowards tried to run away to a new conference. I'm guessing, I'm assuming that's Kansas, Missouri. Because Missouri.
You're taking new comments?
No, I was just scrolling because there were 19 comments that nobody had eyes on. So
actually, I'm eyeing them. I am. I'm not nobody.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. All right. Well, I think then that's it for our show.
Okay.
2 hours and 1 minute. And by gosh, what a great time we had tonight. We don't have to get up for work tomorrow, so I was ready to drink more and spend some more time with all of you, but my co-host over here says it's late, and it's been her daughter's birthday today, so they're all birthdayed out. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and call the show. Everybody, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for spending time with us. I know whether it was fireworks in the backyard or whatever, hey, you're here for Shelby's birthday, for America's birthday, and by gosh, for my birthday as well. And I appreciate all of you. So thank you, Minnie, for amazing gift and thoughtfulness. And thank all of you just for being who you are. And that includes you as well, Minnie. What a great great community we have here. And while John may have started it, I'm kind of claiming all of you as my own because you keep showing up. And that means a lot to me. So, Greg, talk about the 2026 season again. Yeah, let's do that real quick. I can tell you the dates of the first 3 games. I can tell you that I hope to go 2-0 against teams from Ohio. I guess 3-0 because I think
Greg
is in Ohio.
Come on.
That'll do it for this episode of the 5 Heart Podcast. With much love and appreciation to all of you. I'm Greg Mahachko. She is Minnie Hunt. This is the 5 Heart Podcast, and we remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
Happy birthday, Greg. Happy birthday, Shelby. And happy birthday, America. And may Nebraska football reign in all its glory this season.
Oh. And the home of the brave. Oh,